Big Goodwin here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, help promote and rank up my channel. So on a very, very light news day, I'm going to cover this particular topic because I do find it actually interesting. It involves the Stargirl actress with a really weird first name that's really hard to announce. Washington. She's pretty much playing the new Mid-Nite over on Stargirl. So this case of Blackface, Stargirl star shares disturbing blackface story from her early career. And a lot of people are probably gonna pile on this type of thing like, oh, it's so racist, it's so awful, or whatever. And this involves a stunt double that was made up to look black. And here's the thing, in these particular situations, you can see this. You can see why she felt uncomfortable. But here's the thing, in show business, especially in television and in movies, but more importantly in television, you get on these really tight schedules and you have to get things out at a certain time. And people are going to think that this is racist, but it really isn't. Here's the thing, time constraints, you have to meet them. And a perfect example of this, yes, it's a white woman painted up black so she can perform stunts for the actress. But here's the thing, this happens often. This happens a lot. Sometimes you get a bigger body person that has to be a stunt double for a skinny person, or you get a skinny person that has to be a stunt double for a bigger body person. And you have to work with what you get, no matter how much you dislike it and how much, because it will hurt. It will hurt your show. It will hurt the performance. It will hurt the movie. If people take notice of it. I mean, a perfect example of this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer Earshot back in season 3. So Earshot it's hilarious. It's also very dramatic. And in this episode, if you watch the commentary on the episode, you'll hear Josh Whedon talk about how they were under time constraints and they got sent the wrong stunt double because the lunch lady in that episode was supposed to do an action scene. However, the stunt double they ended up with was skinny and the lunch lady was bigger body, and they just had to run with it. So there's a shot in there where you can clearly see how skinny, when they cut out to show the action between the two characters fighting, you can clearly see the stunt double doesn't match the actress because she's really skinny and the actress is big body. But these things happen. These things happen all the time. And I doubt that a production studio would go through the effort to make an actress uncomfortable by painting up a white woman as a black woman. I can see why that would feel weird and eerie for her to, but it's not intentionally racist. I would find it really hard to believe that they would invest their time in making this girl feel uncomfortable, that they would go through the efforts and all this, paint this woman up just to make this woman uncomfortable. It seems very far-fetched and ridiculous for me. And this Stargirl girl, the show's great. Stargirl is a great show, but this isn't the first time this girl right here has said something related to all the BLM and acting like there's just this horrible oppression or whatever in society that there really isn't. So Stargirl actress, whatever the hell her first name is, however the hell you pronounce it, Washington, revealed an incident from early in her career involving a stuntman wearing blackface. Oh, that's problematic. You said stuntman. That's a woman. But the recent resurgence of The Black Lives Matter movement has caused the nation to reflect on its treatment of black people and other people of color and take action to prevent their continued systematic oppression. Well, see, look, this isn't like they're intentionally negatively mistreating this woman right here by going through some effort to paint this woman all matching skin tone just to make her uncomfortable. Is that what we're supposed to believe here? That's completely ridiculous nonsense. That's a lot of time and effort, and when you're on time constraints, it's just a completely ridiculous notion to act like they're intentionally treating this girl differently because she's black. They're not, okay? Stunt doubles and time constraints, all that, like, nobody's saying that about the people that don't match their. For instance, like I was just pointing out, a skinny woman had to come in to be the stunt double for a bigger body woman, and it hurt the reality, the realism of the show, the reality of the show, by having that obvious shot where you can see the difference. And even though Buffy the Vampire Slayer is based in fantasy and all that, still it hurts the immersion of the show, I should say, when there's a clear disconnect and when you can clearly tell that this is a different person than the one you just seen a fraction of a second later or so. But it's not intentional. It's not oppression. If we're gonna say that this was intentional or whatever, that this was just to hurt black people or be offensive or be racist or whatever, that's just stupid. Because then you'd have to make the same argument for these cases when, like, the bigger body woman has a skinny woman. You have to say, oh, well, that's whatever against fat people or skinny people. That was intentional. No, it wasn't intentional. Things like this aren't intentional. Things like this are frustrating and annoying when you're trying to do a movie or a show and you get the wrong person, or you can't get the right person. And a lot of times the studio's to blame for not paying attention and just sending over somebody. So news stories from the entertainment industry continue to surface as a result, shedding light on the full scale of the issue. The newest of which comes from Stargirl's whatever, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Washington posted an image from the set of her fourth job. The photo features herself and a stunt double wearing blackface. Washington explained that this made her uncomfortable. Well, of course it did. I mean, I would feel creeped out on the White Chicks movie with the Wayans brothers looking all white, and you're just like standing next to them like, this is weird. This is weird. The way that, but nobody talks about that either. So Washington posted an image from the set of her fourth job. The photo features herself and a stunt double wearing blackface. Washington explained that this made her uncomfortable, and she raised the issue with one of the producers of that show, asking why a black stunt double had not been hired. In response, the producers suggested that there were no black stunt workers available and that Washington should be thankful to be here. Well, here's the thing. Maybe that was his response, and maybe it was being a dick. But also at the same time, there may have, even though there are black stunt workers available, the studio may have not given him one. And he probably made that remark because he was pissed off with the frustration and what he already had to deal with, what he already had to work with. And there was probably nothing that this particular individual could do about it. On the other hand, maybe there were black stunt workers available and he just didn't want to work with one. Nobody's saying nothing about Jordan Peele not wanting to work with white people or all the other people that are talking about they don't want to. There are all these other people in Hollywood openly saying they don't want to work with white people. So this could have been a racist thing, or it couldn't have been. But remember, everything goes both ways. So it goes into much greater detail, and I don't know if I'll read all this, but we'll see. I was very uncomfortable, as anyone would be to meet your double in blackface. So I spoke up for myself. I pulled one of the producers aside and asked, why isn't my stunt double black like me? Isn't that the point of a double? She responded, sure, but we wouldn't find a black stunt double in LA. Los Angeles doesn't have many black stunt performers, but aren't you happy to be working? You should be thankful to be here. I immediately started to question myself. Do I sound ungrateful? Am I complaining? Maybe this is just how it is. So I said, okay. I sat down in my chair, shut up, and tried to think positive thoughts, hence my smile in this photo. But really, I felt powerless, voiceless, and somehow ungrateful. Anyone who knows me knows that grateful is one of my favorite words and feelings. So in this moment, I felt like somehow I was in the wrong for speaking up for myself, but no, she was wrong. See, there's this oppressive thing that happens when everyone and everything are ran by white people on sets and in any industry where they try to manipulate POC into just being grateful to be there. They do this to us because they know that they literally run the show. They feel like a savior for giving a young black woman, a young black girl in a role in their show, even though most of the times it's just to check a box. They often don't check to see if we are comfortable with that, and they are asking what they are asking of us. They often call us unprofessional or a diva for advocating for ourselves, and most of the times they get away with paying us way less in our co-stars than our co-stars. This is why being inclusive and hiring POC in front of the camera and behind is extremely imperative. Lucky for me, I kicked my ass in my action scenes and my stunt double wasn't even used. But the thing is, the whole time I kept telling myself, I have to be great. No, I have to be better than great. I have to be so amazing, and they don't need her. No one can know that I have a stunt double in blackface. And it says more to the story. Rest in comments. So I mean, that's also true though. That's also true that they often do this type of stuff just to check a box. But it's still likely that this wasn't intentional. That it wasn't actually intentional. It's still likely that the studio itself just sent over the wrong stunt double, or didn't send her one that she requested, and that falls on the studio there. That doesn't fall on the casting director or the director or whatever, or the producer. That falls on whoever sent the stunt double. But still, I get what she's saying about how they try to act like the white savior, because they do. They virtue signal all the time, acting like, oh, they're so great for giving a black person this or that, and they don't really believe in the nonsense they preach, and she's 100% right on that. So there is a lot of nuance in this. There is a lot to take into consideration. So the actor did not specify which show she was working on at the time, though given the time frame and the required stunt work, there is speculation that the incident might have occurred on the set of Versus. Regarding the unnamed producer's statement about the lack of black stunt actors, several readers have presented counter-arguments. Makeup artist April Cheney stating, I've seen this numerous times, sick, and yes, there are plenty of black stunt doubles in Hollywood. Our doubles in LA, we have plenty on my show. Numerous prominent figures have taken action to change the treatment of people of color in the media in all its forms. These acts range from supporting creative, accepting roles that treat people of color fairly, and more. Alright, so here's one thing to be said, is that Hollywood is actually more racist than other places. This is one reason why they think the rest of the country is so racist. It's because Hollywood itself is actually pretty racist, and a lot of individuals there are not only racist, but they're pedophiles and all kinds of sickos. That's Hollywood for you, okay? That's Hollywood for you. But in this particular situation, I doubt somebody went through the effort of getting a white stunt double that they would have to put in all this makeup just because they don't want to hire a black stunt double. That seems bizarre to me. But then again, you have situations where people like Jordan Peele, a black man, talks about how he doesn't want his movie to have a white lead, or a seen that movie before. He doesn't want to work with white people, and you have other people saying stuff like that. So it's possible that, this actually was racist, but also it's highly possible that this person just got thrown this stunt double without the studio giving a damn about the details or anything, and that this person had to work with this stunt double under time constraints, and as a result they had to paint her all black like this, because like I said, this does happen. And also at the same time, though, it's important to point out that what this girl Washington, this actress from Stargirl, that I can't pronounce the first name of, this actress makes a very good and valid point here, is that they do this stuff to check a box. They act like you should be grateful. They act like they're your white savior. This doesn't represent the country. This represents LA, Hollywood, and celebrities. Because that's the way they are there. They get in front of all this talk about, she talks about how that's why diversity is so important in front of and behind the camera. But a lot of this stuff is just to check a box. It's forced. They don't really believe in the nonsense they preach, so it's not going to change their attitude about how they treat you. If they were really just hiring you to check a box to fulfill, some kind of minority role, if they were just doing it to check a box, it does not matter. They're not going to change their attitude. And a lot of today is just virtue signaling. It's not really about hiring who's best for the job. It's not really about them believing the stuff they say. It's really about them saying, look at me, I'm so morally superior. Look at me giving these roles to people of color, or this or that. And that's really what a lot of promotional PR stuff is about today. It really is. So there's a lot of different things to take into account on this particular subject. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. A good one here. Eventually we will. Like, subscribe, share, stay awesome, and rock on.